day. So in here we have 3 compression fittings, 1, 2, 3, for the copper line that I bought the other day. This is the moisture trap and oil air filter, and this here would be the radiator, cooler, whatever we wish to call it. So here we have it. It comes with, it doesn't come with compression fittings. It comes with the air connector, quick connectors, but it has those. So, and it had a little user manual in it. So this here would be the gauge, and then it comes with tape. We've got a little mounting thing there. I'll build a bracket for that. Yeah. Sorry for the messy countertop. All right, so here's our, it's actually a little bit smaller than I thought it would be. There's my hand. But that's actually good. It's gonna work. Still waiting on the AN8 connectors, which of course were not included with this, and also the tabs from derail to hold this in place. So they're like zip ties but metal, I think. Anyway, they are coming in a couple of days, so pretty soon I'll be able to put this compressor back together. Well, as you can see, I've taken some time to rearrange while I was waiting for some parts to come in. My compressor, the line that blew, used to be there. Now it's just a hole. I mean, look at the compressor. It's covered in oil. It's just filthy. So while this is all apart, I'm going to give this a thorough clean and degrease and make it look all shiny. I'll change the oil in it. I'll change the air filter. We'll get some maintenance done on it. So I set myself up a work table because I ordered these parts right after my compressor blew. That was in September. It's now about 2 days to Halloween. So I've seen on YouTube where people put transmission cooler. This one is a 16 pass. And what they do is they mount it up right here. I'm going to put the cooler here. Then I'm going to loop copper line around to the up side of the cooler. And then from the down side of the cooler, it's going to come around. I'm going to have an auto drain here, and it's going to cool the air and pull a lot of moisture out of the air. And then it's going to loop around and go up and into the tank. Some of the other videos I've seen showing how to do this with this exact cooler show 300 degree Fahrenheit's coming out of the head and 75 going into the tank. So that should eliminate a lot of the moisture problem I've been having with sandblasting. I couldn't get female AN8 to compression for whatever reason. So it's male to male, so I got a female to female adapter. I don't know why I couldn't get them, but I couldn't. You know, there was a lot of pressure put on it when that thing blew, so I got myself a new check valve. The issue was these. They're like a zip tie, but specifically designed for mounting this. I ordered it in September, and it didn't even get shipped until a month later. And it arrived 5 days after it was shipped, looking at the tracking numbers, but it didn't get shipped. So I've been waiting for about 5.5, 6 weeks for these so that I could actually get my compressor going. So I lost a month and a half of time because these guys from Amazon wouldn't ship. Now, here's the thing. I phoned the company directly, and they bent over backwards to take care of me. They really did. They told me that they don't actually support Amazon. All the stuff you see for these guys comes out of US Motor Works. They sell to another vendor, and the vendor resells them through Amazon. And they have cut that vendor off, apparently, because of issues like this. So if you're going to order this piece and these, I mean, these pieces here came from a different company. Those ship fine, but if you're going to order your this and this, order it direct. Don't go through Amazon for these. It's a thing. While I was buying, I also, of course, what's the point of cooling your air if you're not going to get the water out of it? So I picked up one of these as well. This has a pressure regulator on it, and when it arrived, actually the flow was backwards because you have to follow the arrows for airflow, right? The flow was backwards for what I needed. I would have had to loop the air around, come out, and then loop it back around again. So to reverse direction, these just come out with this screw here. I'll show you how this works. It's just an Allen key, and then the slides right out. So this bracket, and then now I have the air and oil filter. Now the arrows go this way, and you want the big one first in the air line, right? So air has to go into this one first, then this one. So I reverse direction. The other thing I did is standard, when they came, both of the brackets were in this orientation, and of course backwards. So all I did was, when I put it back on, I flipped it, and that's going to make it way easier for me to mount. Originally my thought was just to mount it to, I took the screen off and cleaned it up. Originally I was just going to mount it here, but I don't really like the idea of mounting this to the plastic directly. It's going to sit right there. And of course the intake fan, or the cooling fan and pulley, goes right behind this screen. I was going to open this up to improve airflow, but I don't think it's too bad. We'll see how it works. We'll mount that up there and get some cooler air. I'm not going to show you the cleaning of the compressor because it's basically just using grease remover, getting it cleaned up, making it look pretty. The other thing I have, I bought this for $29 while I was at Princess Auto as well. There's a tubing bender, a couple of handles, right? So you can set your. It's the least expensive one I could find that would be decent. There are cheaper ones, but this one looked like it would be much better. So I don't know if I'm going to need it or not. The other thing you'll need is a cookie cutter for your copper line. I happen to have one of those already. It's just a little thing that spins around. You'll see it in a bit. It's on my table here. I just don't know exactly where. So that's the plan. Let's get some cool air going. The videos I had seen showed, and I didn't get a chance to test this before because obviously I didn't know my compressor was going to blow apart. The videos I'd seen show 300 degrees Fahrenheit for the air coming out of the head if you use one of those little temperature laser temperature sensors, and room temperature coming out the bottom with this 16 pass cooler. Let's get her started here. Enough of my nattering away. Let's show some actual work done here. As you can see, my compressor has a lot of oil all over it. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this out and I'm going to give it a wipe down. I'm going to degrease it. I'm going to clean it up. While I got it apart, I'm going to change the oil. I'm going to do all that stuff. Right. Got the cage off. Is it perfect? No. No, it's not perfect. Is it better? Yeah. I can actually touch it without getting greasy now. Especially in here, because this draws the air in. I took a lot of sand off this side of the cylinder head, which probably didn't help cooling. Well, taking it off probably helped cooling a lot. So yeah, that's a ton better. I mean, it's not perfect, obviously. There's still some sand here. This was so caked with sand. I actually used a leaf blower to get it all out because obviously I couldn't use the compressor. When cleaning among these blades, make sure you're not plugged in, right? There's the plug, not plugged in. So blew all this out, I'm going to reattach. There's three holes, 3 bolts to put the cage back in. Actually, I should correct that. There's five holes. There's these 3, and then there's one on each side here. It just goes on that. Just goes right in there. So those will go in. And you get the idea. That one I might need to do with 2 hands. So, but you get the idea. I'm putting bolts in. I'm going to ratchet them in. Now on the cage, I was originally wondering about cutting this out, but I don't think I need to. If I put that right there, I don't think that this will impede the air too much. It doesn't with the other fans, so that's how that's going to sit. Okay, looking at the top of the compressor, these 3 screws and this cap came off, easy. This is where the air filter element goes, is right in there. I've pulled it out already. As you can see, that's gonna need some cleaning out. Okay, so the old filter element, this package came with 2. Ow, bit me. This package came with 2. You can see it there, it says 2 pieces on the red band there. So second one will go back in there, keep it nice and clean. Actually, let's put it back in the way it was intended. The old one's gonna go away, it's done. So I took the old screens off. This thing is garbage. And they're bowed out from all the dust and everything. So I've given them a quick wipe, but I'm gonna turn them so that they're sandwiching back this way, just to bend them the other way. It's gonna stick into that slot. Screws are gonna go back on, then the oil change. So the top is now in place. By the way, I did clean that out. It wasn't as bad as I thought. It just looked worse than it was. But nice, clean new air filter. So in order to drain the oil, there's your Allen key there. Pull this out. This doubles as a filler cap and also as a vent. Let's make sure we get it all out. Get it on a bit of an angle. Now it goes from a drip to a stream again. Per the instructions in the owner's manual, synthetic compressor oil. I cleaned this funnel, by the way, so it's all nice and clean. But we go between the bottom of the red and the top of the red on the sight glass. Right, so on this cooler, I looked up the instructions, the actual instructions, instead of just winging it. So this slides through, then the foam pad, then it goes through that, and then it gets the plastic. Now, these look like they've got to go right through the fins here, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to shove them through the fins. Oh, look at that. They actually go pretty easy. I thought it would be more of a fight than that. There we go. Look at that. So now, these then go on the back side. There's even a little punch out there, which is kind of cool. So these, little punch out there. This goes right on the paper off the back so the sticky can stick. Take the thing. Come on. So just grab it and now clippers, and clip it nice and flush so that it doesn't interfere with the pulley. Look at that. We have one mounted cooler. And here it is. Geez, that's nice and compact, eh? That's really nice and compact. And where it sits, I can actually aim a fan at this as well. So I'm going to mount, originally I was going to mount it like there, but as I said before, I don't want to do it on the plastic. I'm going to mount that like right there. So I need to mark and tap, and then the line can just come right out to here. And then this, the output line It'll come over the top of the motor there. That should work. I could mount it here, but then I'm right above that. Right above where it comes out, and I don't want, because it drains, it's an auto drain. I don't want to auto drain it. I could mount it on this side over here, run the line around the front, and then up and over. But then I'm very close to this electrical cord with the output line. It's going to come up and over, kind of loops it. So I think the best solution is right here. I think that's where she's going to be. Yeah. I mean, if I do put it there, is that going, I mean, I could then put it right in the line. But then vibration, is that going to crack the plastic because of the weight of this? That's all I'm worried about, is cracking that plastic. Let me think about this for a minute. Drilled the hole there. So now I'm going to tap the hole with the 24 thread per inch, the fine thread, and mount this thing up. So tapping the hole. Yeah, she bit. Okay. Okay, so that's nice and snug. And just to be safe, I've got another washer, lock washer, and nut to go on the other side just to lock it in. So hand threaded on, washer, lock washer, nut. I know I'm not going to turn the other side because it's threaded through as well. I made the hole tight, tapped it, so this is going to serve as a secondary. This compression size, so this is 1/4 inch outside diameter copper, and this is the appropriate 3/8, I believe, for the NPT, which would be 1/4 inch inside diameter. So all good. Yellow is for gas. White Teflon tape is for liquid. Sorry about the camera angle, just in case you're interested in watching. Sorry, I'll try and block that light. So as you can see, I put the first one in there. So second one, just grab the good old yellow Teflon tape for the gas proof and give it, oh, I don't think it needs much more than 2 laps around. So let's give this a spin in. Doesn't seem to want to turn. Yeah, she's more effort there, so we'll test it for leaks after. Male to compression. Of course, that's male, so that's not going to work well. Female to female. So while I'm at it, I put the compression fitting in up here, and this one here, the female, and then the, so this line will come from there, that'll loop around. Then this one will come to here. This one will go over the top and end up in this, which is the check valve. For giggles, we're going to start with the top. So, how long do we want this? Let's unroll a bit of copper here. Let's say, let's mark it about there. So this tightens up. This is an old cutter, so away we go, round and round we go. Okay, so we got that cut. Make sure you have your nut on before you flare. Okay, so you get it in, you get her flush. This goes over the edge, and you line it up in the middle. Voila, flare. Here's a better look at the flare. So that'll go just like that. A little ferrule fits in there, compresses. We want to make this a fairly large radius, as large as we can. Put this in without the ferrule just to test fit it. Okay, so we've got a test fit in here. It's not perfectly straight, but it'll work. So now I can put the ferrules in. Start with this one. So Halloween's over. I got interrupted before I finished this. Had a couple of days where I had to, do Halloweeny stuff. So getting back in here now, and I'm gonna finish up. I don't know if you saw, but the first one is in here. It runs from the cylinder to the top of the radiator. The second one, I'm gonna run it from here. I'll do this one after, in between the radiator and the water trap. So I'm gonna run from the water trap up and over, and I installed the check valve. This will go right onto the check valve. The other thing I did when I was out running around, since I had to do some stuff anyway, I got myself a new pipe cutter. So I'm gonna set this up for size here. I'm gonna mark it, I'm gonna cut it. Halloween, okay, I love Christmas. Santa Claus shows up in my house every year. I love Halloween even more, because that is the one night a year where all the women that you wish dress super slutty do. By the way, in case I forgot to mention it earlier, the compressor holds 18 to 18.5 ounces of oil. So about half a liter, half a quart, depending on whether you're using American or standard or metric measurements. 2 cups is what I put in there, and I could see it in the sight glass. I couldn't originally see it in the sight glass, so I overfilled it. So I drank some back out and then topped it back up to the proper level. Come right over. A nice gentle curve. Gentle curves are better. Fiddle. That's the beautiful thing with copper, right? You can kind of fiddle around with it. So I've turned the compressor so you can see. It's got to come out of here, right? And to go straight from there to there, that's too sharp of a loop. So I'm taking my copper, I'm setting it in here, and I'm basically, I want it to roll out, and over, and down. So it ends up about there. I'm going to mark that. Right about there. Okay, so that's where we're going to do our flares. Well, cut there. Looks like I bought literally just enough copper. And I am not going to take credit for intelligence on that. It's a complete fluke that I got the right amount. Gonna put the nuts on them. Don't forget to put your nuts on. So this nut goes on this side. Oh, watch out for the ferrule gonna come out. Right there. Okay, and then this. All right, and then you saw me use the flare tool before, so you don't need to see me do it again. So flare's on, ends on. By the way, if you are wondering why there's no Teflon tape on a compression joint, it's because the compression is around the ferrule. That's where the seal is. The seal's not on the threads. You only use the Teflon tape when the threads are creating seal. It's kind of like a gasket. Okay, let's cinch this up. Now, I use the smaller crescent wrench for this. I should probably use a proper wrench, but crescent wrench is convenient and handy. Now, I want to keep this copper away from the steel here, because there will be some galvanic corrosion otherwise if it wears the paint off. So what I'm going to do is make sure that this is bent so there's just a little bit of separation there. But I'm going to do that after this is on. Doesn't have to be much. Microns or miles. If it misses, it misses. Down a bit. So that separation there. Good, good, good. Have all my lines in. Okay. So the next thing that's going to happen is I'm going to test this thing. Just means plugging it in. So I've got it plugged in. I've got a temperature reader here. Whoops. The head is currently 46 degrees Fahrenheit. 46.5 degrees Fahrenheit. This line, 47. Okay, so let's see what this temperature does. This is going to get loud. Okay, so the check valve is leaking. I have it coming out of there. That's already, wow, that's already warm. Wow, why is it coming out? That hasn't changed. So going in is already up about 20 degrees. So I'm going to tighten some of this stuff and I'm going to bang that, this check valve and see if I can't get that to stop leaking. So the compressor is now charged to about 80 psi. There goes the water again. Look at the water coming out. Wow. So let's see the temperature here. 216 on the head. And then what's this one? 54. Wow. Top of the tank. Bottom of the tank's down to 50. So that's an amazing difference in temperature. Video from the head comes around to the top of the cooler, goes through the cooler, comes out the cooler. I did a loop to avoid a very sharp bend through the water traps, water and oil traps, then up over top of the motor and down into the check valve. The silver line goes from the head to the relief valve. 150 psi in the tank, no leak. I'm going to drain it and fix my pressure gauge because the other thing that happened was this won't keep pressure coming out. So, got to fix that next. I'm going to run this pressure down a bit here and see if this thing will kick back on.